Welcome back to Epic Ranking. Today we're embracing the pain and diving into games that will push you to your limits. These are the games that challenge you, break you, and if you're lucky, make you stronger. So, grab your controller, prepare for a few broken ones, and let's jump into the top 20 hardest games that will make you suffer. Let's do this. Starting us off is the arcade classic Ghosts and Goblins. If you ever wanted to experience a game designed to test your patience, this is it. Playing as a knight in his underwear, because why not? You fight off relentless waves of enemies while dodging attacks from all directions. The worst part? Just when you think you've beaten the game, you're told you have to do it all over again for the true ending. It's a masterclass in 80s-style punishment, where every level seems more about survival than fun. This one feels like a rite of passage for old-school gamers. Just don't expect it to go easy on you. Furi is like entering a series of epic, high-stakes duels where every boss has an axe to grind. Each fight is a mix of rapid-fire combat and bullet hell madness, and you'll need to have razor-sharp reflexes to stand a chance. The bosses don't give you any breathing room. One mistake can set you back in a fight that's already lasted 15 minutes. It's not a game that cares about fairness. It cares about making sure you suffer in style. At least the soundtrack is incredible, so you can headbang your way through the pain. If precision platforming sounds like your jam, then Super Meat Boy is here to make you rethink that choice. Every level is packed with spinning saw blades, spikes, and other delightful hazards that are just waiting to tear Meat Boy into tiny pieces. The game demands pixel-perfect accuracy with every jump and slide, and even the smallest mistake will send you back to the start of the level. You'll die hundreds, if not thousands of times, but the game's instant respawns ensure you can suffer again in record time. It's fast, it's brutal, and it's addictively fun in that why am I doing this to myself way. This isn't just an action game. This is a test of your combat skills and your ability to keep your cool under pressure. Ninja Gaiden throws everything it has at you, with enemies that feel like they've been designed specifically to exploit your weaknesses. You'll need to master the combat mechanics and learn every enemy pattern if you hope to survive, let alone reach the end. The game doesn't hold your hand. It actively dares you to fail. But once you do conquer it, there's no better feeling. Just be prepared to die a lot before you get there. Don't be fooled by the hand-drawn art style. Hollow Knight is as tough as nails. The game's sprawling world is filled with challenging platforming sections, dangerous enemies, and bosses that demand precise timing and near-flawless execution. As you venture deeper into the insect-filled kingdom, you'll face challenges that will push your patience to the limit. The boss fights, in particular, are a lesson in patience and perseverance. Each one feels like a marathon, and just when you think you're about to win, they hit you with a new attack pattern that makes you question everything. Celeste is a beautifully crafted platformer with tight controls and a heartwarming story, but don't let the charming visuals fool you. This game wants you to struggle. The platforming challenges are deviously difficult, requiring split-second timing and precise movements. Each level is a gauntlet of spikes, moving platforms, and tricky jumps that will leave you with sweaty palms. But what's amazing about Celeste is that even though it's brutally hard, it never feels unfair. Every death teaches you something, and the satisfaction of finally nailing that perfect jump is unbeatable. In The Surge 2, the world may have gone full sci-fi, but the pain is all too real. With its limb targeting system, you'll be hacking away at enemies who are more than capable of turning you into a pile of scrap metal if you're not careful. The game's combat is methodical, but the enemies are ruthless, constantly testing your ability to balance offense and defense. And the bosses? Well, they don't mess around either. Each one is a brutal, multi-stage battle that will make you appreciate every tiny opening for an attack. The learning curve is steep, but the sense of achievement is even steeper. Roguelikes are known for being tough, but Dead Cells takes it to another level. With procedurally generated levels and permadeath looming over you, this game gives you one shot to make it through its dangerous world. Each run feels like a desperate attempt to survive, and the enemies don't take it easy on you. They'll corner you, overwhelm you, and make sure your mistakes are costly. Every weapon feels different, and mastering each one is key to survival. But be warned, just when you think you've got the hang of things, Dead Cells will throw something new at you to keep you on your toes. Spelunky 2 is the kind of game where every step feels like a potential death sentence. You'll navigate deadly traps, unpredictable enemies, and a world that's more than happy to see you fail. The procedurally generated levels mean you never know what to expect, and even when you think you've got a handle on things, the game will find a way to trip you up. Each death feels like a learning experience, but that doesn't make it any less frustrating. Spelunky 2 doesn't give second chances. It gives you more reasons to try again and again. This roguelike dungeon crawler looks like a simple indie game, but its difficulty will have you questioning your decisions. Every run is random, meaning no matter how much you think you've learned, you'll always be surprised by what the game throws at you next. Enemies swarm you, bosses are relentless, and sometimes it feels like the entire game is rigged against you. Success in The Binding of Isaac is as much about skill as it is about luck, and both will be in short supply as you work your way through its brutal levels. But every victory feels that much sweeter because of the challenge. Racing games aren't typically known for being punishingly hard, but F-Zero GX is an exception. This game moves at blistering speeds, with tracks that demand perfect reflexes and precision. One wrong move, and you'll be slamming into walls or flying off the track altogether. The AI opponents are ruthless, and the higher difficulty levels feel like a fight for survival rather than a race. It's fast, it's brutal, and it's unforgiving. But if you can master its punishing difficulty, you'll feel like a true racing legend. Yes, it's Tetris, but not the kind your parents played. On Expert Mode, Tetris Effect becomes a blisteringly fast puzzle game that will test not just your brain, but your reflexes. Blocks fall at lightning speed, and you'll need to keep your wits about you as the screen fills up faster than you can clear lines. It's a high-octane version of the classic, and just when you think you're getting the hang of it, the game speeds up again. This is no relaxing puzzle game. It's a test of endurance and mental fortitude. But when you're in the zone and pulling off those perfect combos, it's pure bliss. Nintendo may be known for family-friendly games, but Super Mario Maker 2 is where Mario players go to suffer. The expert levels designed by other players are brutal, requiring pinpoint accuracy and perfect timing. These levels aren't just hard, they're downright evil, with traps and obstacles that seem specifically designed to make you fail. There's nothing more humbling than thinking you're a Mario master, only to get wrecked by a level that's basically one long death trap. But hey, if you're a glutton for punishment, the community has plenty more where that came from. Doom Eternal doesn't just want you to shoot demons. It wants you to do it while running at breakneck speeds, dodging projectiles, and managing ammo like your life depends on it, because it does. The combat is fast, chaotic, and requires constant movement and precision. One moment you're blowing up a demon with a rocket launcher, and the next you're scrambling to avoid getting obliterated by a massive Hell Knight. This game doesn't give you a moment to breathe, and the harder difficulty levels feel like an all-out sprint for survival. If you like your shooters fast and brutal, Doom Eternal will test your limits. Ghostrunner combines parkour, swordplay, and cyberpunk aesthetics into one high-speed, brutal package. The game requires precision and quick reflexes, as even the smallest mistake can get you killed instantly. Whether you're wall running, dashing, or slicing through enemies, Ghostrunner expects you to do it all perfectly. There's no room for error, and each level feels like a tightrope walk over a pit of spikes. It's fast, unforgiving, and incredibly satisfying once you nail the perfect run. But until you do, prepare to suffer. Tactical games don't get much tougher than XCOM 2. In this turn-based strategy game, one wrong move can mean the difference between victory and disaster. Your soldiers can die permanently, missions can go south in a heartbeat, and even the most well-planned strategies can fall apart if the game decides you missed that 95% shot. It's a game where the stakes are always high, and every mission feels like a fight for survival. The enemies are tough, the consequences are real, and every decision could lead to your squad's complete annihilation. It's a battle of wits and endurance, and if you can make it through, you've truly earned your victory. If you think cartoons are just for kids, Cuphead is here to destroy that notion and your patience. This game's hand-drawn 1930s-inspired art style may be charming, but the difficulty is anything but. The boss fights are relentless, with screen-filling attacks, projectiles coming from every direction, and patterns that require you to have the reflexes of a superhero. Each boss feels like a war of attrition, where only perfect timing and memorization will save you. It's beautiful, it's brutal, and you'll be begging for mercy by the time you finish. But hey, at least it looks good while you're suffering. With its fast-paced combat, complex systems, and enemies that hit like trucks, Nioh 2 is not here to be kind. You'll need to master everything from weapon stances to key management if you want to stand a chance. Every encounter feels like a deadly duel, and the bosses are here to remind you that death is a frequent visitor in this world. The game doesn't just challenge you, it expects you to adapt, learn, and get better with each death. And trust me, there will be many deaths. It's a samurai's journey through hell, but the feeling of triumph after finally taking down a boss is worth all the pain. FromSoftware, the master of making gamers question their own sanity. Whether it's the gothic nightmare of Bloodborne, the crushing open-world difficulty of Elden Ring, or the precise combat of Sekiro, these games are designed to push you to your limits. Every boss is a challenge, every enemy can end your run, and the combat demands flawless timing and skill. These games have no mercy, but that's part of their charm. They don't want to beat you down. They want to see if you're willing to rise up after every defeat. For those who crave the ultimate test of endurance, FromSoftware has your number. Okay, hear me out. E.T. is not hard in the way that these other games are. It's hard because it's downright impossible to understand what you're supposed to do. This game is infamous for being one of the worst games ever made, and trying to navigate its broken mechanics and nonsensical design is an exercise in frustration. Falling into endless pits, aimlessly wandering around, and not knowing what's happening at any given moment, that's the true challenge. It's not a well-designed game by any stretch, but if you manage to beat E.T. without losing your mind, you deserve a medal for perseverance. It's the kind of suffering that transcends gaming logic. And there you have it, the top 20 hardest games that will make you suffer. These games are designed to test your limits, break your spirit, and if you're lucky, build you back up stronger. What games have made you question your sanity? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more epic rankings. Until next time, this is Epic Ranking, signing off.